Don't blink, it's your Blink, for Colorful Story Show. It's going well because I'm having a wonderful day on its 24th August 2025. Serving like a videos for the last couple of days. We had really bad moments. So what we're going to do is coming back to Prison Break because of course we are going to be reviewing Prison Break. It's been a while and can't say that I haven't missed it. So without further ado, let's get to it. As you can see, it's pretty dark outside. It's supposed to be raining today, but I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know if it's gonna be. So, hey, what did I do? Oh no, I did something really bad. I did something really bad. I have it here. I closed the page that wasn't supposed to close. The problem when you close a page like that is the problem when you oh, I died. The problem when you close a page like that is you close every single thing that was inside of it. Huh? It is raining. We've been doing good for content for a while, so you need to pay attention. Okay. We'll do YouTube. I know there was an Eric the Actor video, but I don't know what the rest was. Possibly nothing important, but still. Ah, there you go. This is where you see. This is absolutely where you see. There you go. Perfect. Okay, that's good. Okay. So now, Prison Break. Guys, I gotta be honest, I'm not super excited to do Prison Break. The only reason it has to be in is that it's not raining. No, it's not raining. The only reason for that is because we started to do Lost and we didn't finish it. So, yeah, that's pretty problematic. So now we're seeing this and it's whenever you to finish. So we're reviewing season 1, episode 17. Which is Depression. Once again, I'm going to be watching 14, I'm going to be watching 15, I'm going to be doing 16. We have a lot of batteries left, so we're good. Storage is not an issue, battery is not an issue, so everything is a-okay. Sounds good? So season 17, Depression return in isolation cell. During that time, Sucre has to cover the hole and the break room of the guards. This is how long we haven't done it. We haven't done it like in a while, so you know that the biggest problem for it is that Michael is burned and now doesn't have the map. You know that they try to escape. You know that the tunnel that they dig is now filled up by a newly replaced tunnel. Not at all. Pipes. So this is gonna be a problem. Next on the list we have this other episode. So it starts really easy. We start with Michael trying to remember what he wrote down, and Sucre is like, "Yo, you should be remembering that. You have the tattoo." It's like, yeah, but ouch. The prison is so big that remembering all that was impossible. And the craziest thing, this was the original plan. It was to remember the whole prison. It feels so weird to take a couple of days off and just come back and pretend like nothing happened. Because like, what the hell did I say last time? And then you saw the girl with the tattoos. Okay, that's a good idea because I can cheat. It's like what we're doing right now. So it's nuts. We have Tweener, and now this Tweener is Thunder. You hear that? Kind of cool, huh? I got a people here want to see. It's very small, but it's bugging me. So Tweener is important because he's part of the crew, but also he's a snitch. So whatever he does directly affects the group. In a weird way, Tweener is more dangerous to the group than Teabag. And Teabag is a piece of crap, so kind of nuts, isn't it? Now, what is kind of cool is that we saw that there was a deal with Bellic, And also, what is kind of cool is we know that it's kind of a character building, and it's not explicitly say so, because I don't know if I would say that this is entirely true. But long story short, we had moments to see that Tweener was kind of weak. Tweener you could walk on, and you kind of had moments on Bellic being kind of like an asshole. So all you have to do is put those two together and preconceived notion based on element that you saw previously are going to surface. So he brings a inmate, which is Avocado. Tweener has been groomed by Teabag, now will be groomed by Avocado. So this is problematic. And then Belic's like, either you give me something or this is your cellmate. So Tweener is like, no, I cannot do. Tweener is kind of funny because he's trying to brag Bellic. However, money-wise, Bellic is good because he's got Abruzzi money. So what happened, and that sucks, because Tweener says, yo, I know that they're playing something in that break room. So Bellic brings him in the break room. Now, it's kind of nice. There's something that it's kind of nice, but there's something I don't understand. We know that Tweener is the cellmate of DB Cooper, so why didn't DB vouch for him, right? Second of all, it's nuts because he basically had a relationship with every single one of them. Theodore had a relationship with him. CPAT was the first one that he talked to. Michael protects him, and I don't know if he had a relationship with Sucre and a relationship with Abruzzi, but he had a lot of relationship with them. And the first thing he says is, "I'm sorry, I'm breaking the party," which is kind of freaking funny. Now, it's a problem because they don't know they put him in, but then it can't work if he's there. Now, also, what is kind of cool is you saw how important time was. So Michael spent a bit of time with A-Wire. It's like, yo, this is not in the, oh, nice thunders. And we're filming with the phone. This is the return of the phone, so I'm super happy. I am super happy. Are we still uploading? Oh, yes, we are. 8 gigs left. Nice. So we know how important time is. They had more time thanks to Chair. Now, technically speaking, this is also cool. I wanted to talk about this last time, but I didn't. The Chair is, again, things that Michael could have learned, but he didn't. But then at the same time, Michael could have used this and say, hey, I have more time than I expected, and then take his time versus being in a rush. You know? There's a lot of people, and we know that there's one too many. Last episode we saw that there was one too many, and the problem is we already have one guy too many, now we have two. And Michael kind of protects Tweener because Tweener is a younger, it's complex. So Tweener could be a younger brother to him, just like he is to Lincoln. So he wants to copy what Lincoln did, or he saw that he could have helped Teabag's last slave, and he didn't. So no, well, that could be it. So we have more of Nick Fuentes and Veronica, which is they're trying to find a way. Now, this is kind of nuts because we know that there's no escape. We know that every single road led somewhere, and they covered their track nicely. The last road that they had was the teeth, and no teeth won't work. So there'll be a problem. I want you. They're going back to the grave, anything that somebody replaced the teeth. And then the what is kind of insane is it is a possibility that they change the teeth, but then that's so far-fetched that I don't think they're right. They go back to see if the guy had something, and the guy being the governmental guy that they killed. Well, they didn't kill him, they put him in a well. Now, the craziest thing is, I think that they thought that he would still be alive, because they're going back to question him. However, he's dead. So he's in the well, and I have to take a needle and just pop it because it's so annoying, and it's hurting when I talk because it's moving my jaw. So there's like a friction with the skin, and it's just beneath the piercing, so it's hurting. So yeah, so they go to the well, and in the well, what they did was kind of insane. Kind of insane. Because he wrote down the name of the people. Now, the problem with that is LJ saw it. Nobody else saw it. So, if somebody else saw it, he would have told the crew, but since LJ saw it, he didn't tell anybody. Which would ultimately lead him to chase the agent by himself. So we got Michael with the Warren, and the Warren is saying, yo, it's nuts. It's nuts because Michael is trying to see how far he can push it. So now what he's doing is doing the same thing he's doing with Sarah. And it's kind of cool because we know Michael, we know how he acts with Sarah. So by doing the same thing, it would be repetitive, but since the Pope is a different person, his reaction to the action is different than the reaction of Sarah to the same action of Michael. I thought that was cool. We have Sucre who's working on it. It's kind of funny because... Wait a second. Yeah, you put Michael in isolation. And it's kind of nuts because putting him in isolation, I don't know if he thought that... I don't know if he thought it was going to be close to Lincoln. I don't know, but now it's close to listening so they can talk. However, Michael is a bit smarter, but Lincoln definitely has more know-how to survive. I'm gonna pop it, I don't care. And we're back, we even added a little snack. I don't know if Lincoln knew that you and Michael was gonna be in solitary together. This is kind of cool, but at the same time, it's odd because what are the odds, right? There's more than 2 solitary confinements there, and you wouldn't think that solitary confinement is the place where they're gonna get the closest to each other. So they're talking. Lincoln actually does a good job because, like I said, he has a more know-how on how to survive, which is kind of cool. Now that we know CPAT backstory is a bigger part of the crew, bigger part of the story. So, for example, he's going to call his wife, he's going to call his daughter. So, in itself, he's doing a lot more than he used to do. He even have the idea to use a towel to make the quality of the call worse. Yeah, so now everybody is looking to Sucre for some answers because, again, he knows that Michael would have been there. But at the same time, it's kind of weird because Michael possibly exactly expected that. I don't know if he thought that Lincoln was going to be in solitary confinement, but Michael possibly did that so that Sucre, when he asked, he didn't know. See, you would think that Michael was protecting him from the guards. They could have been protecting him from the inmates also. Who knows at this point? So there you go. So Michael is now obsessed with what he has to do. And this is a great moment. Michael is really trying to remember what to do. So now Michael uses his shirt. And this is when Prison Break writing is great. So he destroyed his shirt. And ultimately speaking, he thinks he's going to do something with the shirt. However, he pretends like he has a nervous breakdown, which he doesn't. Now, the reason behind it is actually super good. So he pretends like he has a nervous breakdown, which ultimately leads them to the, whatchamacallit, psych ward. Now, the problem is that before Michael come back, we have to kind of put the plan on hold. But the plan right now is in its final stage. So what he has to do is cover things. So they want to cover everything. Now they're asking Sucre. Now again, this is sad because you can see that the second Michael is not there, Sucre becomes not necessarily a victim in itself, but he becomes the first that they target. So for example, before you're a friend of Michael, so because you're a friend of Michael, kind of got you back. Now that you're alone, you owe us what he owe us. It's so kind of sad for Michael, but at the same time, it's for Michael. Sorry, for Sucre. But at the same time, it's not like Sucre is a victim. I don't think that he thinks that he's a victim. I don't think that he is meant to be a victim. It's just that now that he's not with Michael, it's a bit harder for him. Which in a way is a smart thing to do. Why? Because you could be putting this as a way of saying, yo, this relationship is more than one-sided, and this is important. So in this specific case, this is really nice. So now we have Sarah talking with Michael, and she does she does a lot of research. Now, this is kind of the part that's a bit weird. There's a lot of research, and then now that he's in the psych ward, she's one that know that he's a genius. He's not crazy at all. So you can have a nervous breakdown, but she knows, and she's starting to connect the dots. Now, and in itself, is she smarter than? It's just complex, because you would see this almost as a Veronica Nick Fuentes kind of things. However, it's Michael. It's not a criminal, right? Just planning to get her out, to get him Lincoln out. So Sucre goes out at night and he covers the hole. However, he almost get caught. You know the deal. Then he gets out. He gets caught, right? And Bellic is asking him a question, and he's like, "What are you doing? Are you passing drugs?" And again, this is cool because it does show how little Bellic knows. Because technically speaking, we know how much he knows because they would have shown a scene where he discovers something. However, with him meeting with Tweener, it's all constantly a case of is Tweener talking, which is a nice it's a nice way to say, hey, there's a plot there. And then this is a really cool moment with Sucre, where he showed us a pair of underwear. Now again, the plan was from the other guy, and Sucre is smart. He's street smart. Michael might be book smart, but Sucre is street smart. And it's a shame because him and Lincoln are really similar, so it could have been a good thing to see them together. However, this is season 1. Who knows? Now, also, what happened is that Sucre tells Bellic, like, listen, I did it for love. Can I understand love? And Bellic's like, yeah, I understand love. That's okay. So there's a more human side to him, which is nice. Bellic, a lot of people like him. I don't remember why, but a lot of people like him. So basically, Michael has a breakdown once again. And this time it's shown. It is really shown. So because LJ has the name, what he's able to do, he's able to find the address. He's able to find the phone number. LJ calls him, and you see that again. This is the right address. So he goes to see him, and we know that in Nick Fuentes' cabin there's a gun. So Letterman it's a shame because Letterman has a very small payoff. And the very small payoff is what? The very small payoff is that he is unable to prove his loyalty, but he's been proving his loyalty for years, so it just seemed like a case of she doesn't really care about him and she's using him. You want to feel bad for him in front of the bad guy, you know? So then, here's what happened, and this is really important. The Tweener spies and hears something about the carpet. So Bellic goes in and he's talking about the carpet. And he's stepping on the ground, and that's when he discovers. What he did was they put fast drying cement to cover the hole, but then it's only one layer. So they cover him. Michael is sent to the psych ward. LJ is sent to the school. Now there's a really cool moment because Michael, who is faking everything, who is literally faking. It's a nice moment because Sarah comes in and Sarah will know that he's faking. So he has to play along like everything is not cool when it is cool. You got LJ that finds the apartment of Slenderman. I'm calling in so many things. And it's such a cool scene because LJ is like, yo, you killed my mom, I'm gonna kill you. And the government is like, no, you're not gonna kill me, you're not gonna do shit. Please put the gun down before somebody gets hurt. So then LJ is almost arrested, which is pretty sad. Tweener wasn't able to convince Bellic that he was useful, so now he has a new cellmate, which is Avocado, which is nice because this is a prime moment to say, hey, guess what? You have a motivation. You have a motivation because otherwise you're gonna get F in the ass every single night. We have Michael comes in and he goes to see A-Wire. remembering that A Wire did a drawing. So Michael may not have the tattoos, however, he is able to get every single drawing, which is nice. We have a Poker Liar, which is the name of the episode, on episode 18. While Michael is looking to help A Wire remember the tattoos, the others have to stop Bellic to put the cell of Michael and Sucre to for rent. So again, this is a way of corruption, but they want to put to rent the cell. So we got Michael in the psych ward talking about A Wire, and it's like you need to remember this. But then A Wire is taking the pills. Now here's a moment that's important that I didn't mention. A Wire used to tell those pills stop them. So even though Michael doesn't know drugs, you know that's what their effect is because he had a conversation with past A Wire. It's like, yo, don't take your medication. They're stopping your mind. But as long as A Wire takes the medication, he's done. Michael literally goes in and make him puke his pills. Bellic and the corrupted guards are selling the cell, which is caught by Teabag. And it's a shame because he sells the price. I think it's $500 for a cell, and then Teabag comes in. It's like, yo, I want $1,000. It's kind of a shame, but still. DB and CPAT are kind of moving in together. There's $200. CPAT used to have a lot of money, but then because he's been chilling with Teabag, they don't trust him anymore. So it's like, yo, you're chilling with the dragon, which is the name of the leader of the KKKs. They call him I don't know. I think I thought it was the magician, something like that. But apparently he's the dragon. So they're not going to help CPAT, and he doesn't have the money. CPAT is possibly the biggest hustler in the jails, so yeah. More of Michael and Haywire, which is kind of nice. We have LJ and Lincoln that are having a talk, which could be nice. However, it's bad because now LJ is going to get charged for attempted murder. Got more of Letterman and the company, which is basically, it's a constant battle because, and it comes at a price though. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. So the battle between Letterman and the company is, they're both bad guys, right? Veronica versus Letterman. Veronica is a good guy. Letterman is a bad guy. But now it's just two bad guys. Now, what is the lesser evil? The companies, which we know next to nothing about, or Letterman? Company who is behind Lincoln fake arrests, or Letterman that's trying to kill him. It's all a question of perception, I guess. So now Michael is showing that he's gonna try to get A Wire to print things. CPAT is getting beat up, which is kind of nuts. We see A Wire puking his pills, which is kind of important because he remembers, and he remembers everything. Now that's the craziest thing because when he remembers, you're gonna figure out that this is an escape plan. So this is kind of crazy. So they need money. Now this is the coolest thing. DB gave a $100 bill to to Michael to prove that he's DB Cooper. So he remembered that Michael put it in a Bible, and he picked up the Bible and he picked up the money. This is kind of nice. More of A Wire and Michael talking to the friend of Sucre. And now this is the craziest thing because Sucre the friend of Sucre, I don't know his name. I forgot his name, but you see Michael have the burn. And it's like, yo, it's the same bird that you gave me your uniform. You're planning something. What is it? Which is kind of a shame because everybody wants something, you know. But at the same time, it's jail. So I guess this is what it is. DB pick up the Bible, pick up the cash. Now the only way to do this is, and this is actually quite nice. Because they want to gamble the thing. The thing is, T.O. or Teabag is a great gambler. However, people don't want to be with him because he's a racist. So he used CPAT to be likable. To say, hey, they like you. So if they like you, they'll allow me to play with you. You know? So that's what they're doing. However, The people that are playing with, they're dangerous. They're dangerous in the show, but they don't really like. This is dangerous. So basically, they play the poker, right? And with the poker, what they're doing is they're showing that the people are dangerous. However, they're not dangerous because nothing happens. Here's where you're wrong. They could just show like, okay, we'll got one more enemy. We need to get out of here right away. Seabat's getting beat up. Nobody likes him. The cartel is coming after them. The cartel, the prison cartel, because they took money from the gambling. They cheated. Theo has no friends. And that's pretty much it. Again, we don't see Abruzzi because Abruzzi is. So he's in the what should we call it? He's in the hospital. We see Nick who meets a guy, and the guy tells him, "Don't forget who you work for," and that proves that he's kind of what should we call it? He's kind of a traitor, right? But we don't know if they're working for the company. It was really revealed that he's working for Abruzzi. Now we have the scene with A Wire. That's like, yo, guess what? You're effed. I know that's an escape plan. Tell me, otherwise I'm breaking the plan. So Michael, I have to cut him in. Now we have the poker table, and it's kind of nice because it's a lot of hate between Seabat and Teabag. However, it's okay. So, for example, right, it's a copy and paste of the scene between Michael and Abruzzi when they trap Falcone. However, what happened is we know that it's not a trap. So it's a very similar scene with different background. We know we didn't know. So that's pretty much it. Not great things, but it's a good show. Like season 2 is gonna be good. Season 3 I think is the best. Season 4 I don't know. So the Pope talks to Link and he's like, "Yo, your son is in big trouble." But I know it's hard, but you cannot do anything about it. Right? In this one, it's nice because you see Link actually being understanding of the Pope. It's like, I understand that your hands are tied. So that's pretty much it. Michael is able to trap. He's able to trap a wire, which is kind of funny because a wire is sent back to taking his pill. Said no, I didn't take his pill. So this is kind of funny because at the end Michael got it. CPAT goes in and it's like took the money. We have a discussion between DB and DB understanding CPAT say, "Yo, I know what you're doing. Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Don't tell me what to do." He said, "I know what you're trying to do because I have a daughter too." So more so, Michael and Sarah. And this scene is tough because again, Michael's biggest help in the prison is Sarah, but it's also the most vulnerable. So she's trying to help him, but he's lying. So he's lying, so he doesn't want to lie to her. So he just pretend like he doesn't hear her or he doesn't commute with her, which is kind of cool. Sucre is being told by his friend like, "Yo, I know that something is going on," and Sucre is like, "No, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you." The friend of Sucre comes in, and he wants to be part of the thing, but problem with the problem with the friends is that he is in a very bad spot, and he's fat, so it's gonna be harder for him to escape. So it could be a bigger liability than other people. Are you still going on? Yes, you're going on. Perfect. We have. What is that? So Michael lies and he tells the Pope, "The burn, one of your guard did it. But then again, it's a great thing. However, there's a big problem. It's a great big problem. Why? Because this again, you're making enemies, and if they come back to you, you're done. So it's always a case of you're fast. If it doesn't succeed, they're stuck in jail. Lincoln gets killed, but Michael's stuck in jail. Now everybody that's involved, they're in more danger. So you're just heightening the stakes of the whole prison break. So Bellic is like, he tells the guy, "You're a disgrace. Can't believe you did that." The guy said, what are you talking about? You're doing the same thing. Yeah, but I don't get caught. Got more Veronica and Nick. Got Michael giving back the chains to DB, which is super nice because DB is a good guy. You got the transfer of Lincoln, and somebody's stopping the transfer. Now, it ends up being the father. I got 15% left. I don't know. No, I can't. Gotta be honest, I'm not interested in Prison Break anymore. I miss Lost, man. Fuck, I miss Lost.